Reagan Robertson here with Productive Dentist Academy. Get ready to join your favorite podcast hosts, Dr. Bruce B. Baird, Victoria Peterson, Dr. Chad Johnson, and myself, Reagan Robertson, at the nation's #1 dental business course that guarantees practice growth. That's right, full immersion CE, so you can consistently produce more and align your team for results without compromising excellent patient care. Productive Dentist Academy has a special running this month that you can activate immediately. It's called the PDA Productivity Bundle. And we put this together so that you could attend this workshop, which is happening September 22nd to the 24th in Frisco, Texas at the Hyatt Regency, along with tools to make sure that not only are you getting great education on how to increase your productivity, how to communicate better with your team and your patients, increase your case acceptance, authentic market practice, and more, you also get a 2-hour business advisory session before the workshop to really get clear on what matters to you most so that you can be set up for success at the workshop. And following the workshop, you get 12 months access to PDA on demand. That is the entire productivity workshop on demand for you to make sure that you are doing everything you can in your power to soak up all of that CE and implement it come Monday morning, the next month, and the next month, and the next month for 12 months down the line. Registration is now open. The tuition cost is $2,195, which is ridiculous because it's regularly $5,528 for the productivity workshop attendance, 2-hour business advisory session, and 12 months access to PDA on demand. Hop on over right now to www.productivedentist.com/workshop to grab your registration today. Again, that is www.productivedentist.com/workshop. If you cannot wait and you have to have it right now, email Brent, B-R-E-N-T, at productivedentist.com. That's Brent, B-R-E-N-T, at productivedentist.com, and we will save you a seat. I look forward to seeing you there.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Bruce B. Baird, and you're listening to the Productive Dentist Podcast. In this podcast, I will give you everything that I've learned over the last 40 years in dentistry, working with thousands of dentists. I'll tell you, it's not that my way is the only way, it's just one that has worked extremely well for me, and I'd love to share that with you, so you too can enjoy the choices and lifestyle that productivity allows. More time for things you love, increased pay, better team relationships, and lowered stress. Let's get into it with this week's episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast. Hi, my name's Dr. Bruce Baird, and this is the Productive Dentist Podcast, and we're going to talk about reducing stress and handling the objection before it becomes an objection. That's some of the, what happens to productivity when you're stressed out? What happens to productivity when you're, I think I've told the story that when you're the smiley face or frowny face in the break room, when you walk in and you're not in a good mood and the stress that puts on the entire team. I talked about being the hurricane in the practice, probably last year sometime. But this is more about understanding what bothers me, what bothers team members, and what bothers patients. Let's talk about first things that bother me. Used to be I would, again, roll my eyes, be upset, and now I look at those things like a training opportunity. That would be with a team member. What things happen to me with patients, and how do I handle those objections? Well, one thing would be patient walks in and they have a sensitive filling. Well, when you start talking about handling objections before it becomes an objection, I want you to really understand it crystal clear, because I tell every patient, Bob, this is a little deeper than I thought. We're going to have to keep an eye on that. And I don't think it's going to need a root canal, but let's keep a watch on it. What happens is 99% of the time, you're not going to have sensitivity. So the patient thinks, wow, that was a deep one. Dr. Baird prepared me for it, and wow, it doesn't even hurt at all. So now I'm the hero, not the zero, and they have a lot of faith and trust in me. If, let's just say it's one of those that did have sensitivity, then usually what you do is you're going to adjust the bite. You're going to look at the bite carefully. Then you're going to look at, and I don't care if these are occlusal pits, I tell them it's a little deeper than I thought. I've just never seen a shallow filling as far as me talking to a patient, because I want to prepare them ahead of time for them not coming back to me and saying, well, this thing wasn't sensitive before you worked on it. I'm going to tell them exactly why. So I want to prevent that statement from ever happening to me on a day-to-day basis. With dentures, this is a great one. With dentures, how hard is it for somebody to learn to eat with dentures with no implant support? Some patients say, no, I don't want implants. I just want my teeth taken out. I just want dentures. And I tell the patient straight up, here's what happens to you when you get dentures. Right now you have teeth, even though they're bad, even though we know that you're going to lose your teeth. What happens is right now you probably have a bite force of somewhere between 125 and 200 pounds per square inch, meaning you can still chew, you can still bite down. Now, when you get dentures, now you're going to have two pieces of plastic in your mouth. And when you bite down, you're only going to be able to bite, within a year, you're going to be biting maybe at 10 pounds per square inch. So where you used to tear food up, now all of a sudden you're able to eat, but it's going to change your diet. You're going to have to learn to eat all over again. Now, you can be stubborn and you can wear these things and you'll learn to wear them. There are literally millions of people out there that are wearing just dentures with no implants supported, but it's going to be how you deal with it. So when you bite on the left side with a pencil, the right side's going to drop down. When you bite on the right side with a pencil, the left side's going to pop up. So I'm handling that objection when they come back. And so think about any time a patient complains about something, what would be the solution that you could give that patient before you ever do the treatment? Another time I did a perfect fitting overdenture, and I've talked about this in my seminars. It was a bar overdenture on the lower, and the denture snapped in, and it was beautiful. And the patient says, you told me it was going to be removable. It was going to be fixed. And I said, no, remember we talked about taking it in and out and how you'd be able to clean around the bar? No, you told me it was going to be permanent. Patients lose it. They'll lose maybe what you talked about, or maybe you talked too much. And they were confused. But what that leads me to have to do is I'm going to remake the case. I joked during the seminar saying I filled it up with Vitramir and just cemented it on and said, there it is, permanent, but I didn't do that. But what I want to do is every time I do a bar overdenture now, I tell the patient, you realize you will be able to remove this. Why am I doing this? Because I don't ever want that particular thing to happen again, okay? And so I do this throughout the day with the team, in hygiene. You can handle a lot of things as hygienists or as team members. You can handle a lot of things before it happens. Remember, Bob, what Dr. Baird said. This is going to be, it's going to be very hard to get used to. They're going to be sore. You're going to get sore spots. I'm talking about back with the dentures. I want you to let us know if you have any sensitivity. In other words, taking care of that patient ahead of time. If you have a problem, I want you to personally call me. Here is my cell number, and here is my card. All my team has their own business cards. Why? Because I want the patients to have access to them. What are some other things? When team members, when somebody's upset, when team members are upset at each other or somebody, we talked about abundance and scarcity mentality a few episodes ago. But when I look at that, I say, here's how you can handle those issues. Because I'll see somebody that's struggling, frustrated, and I said, and as the leader, I'm saying, so, Mary, what's frustrating you? Well, it seems like I'm doing everything here. I'm the one who's doing this, and I'm doing that, and I can't get anybody else to help or whatever. I said, okay, let's step back and let's talk to everybody in a different way. Let's point out, and doing it in the right way by saying, for instance, Shannon, you are awesome. You're running around and you're always helping out here and there. Would you mind helping me with these particular things when I need help? And I'll help you when you need this. In other words, it's opening up the lines of communication. And the one who's frustrated, unfortunately, is the one oftentimes who is the one that needs to come up with a solution. And if you'll handle that solution as you're bringing on new team members, look, I'm always going to help you, and I'm going to expect the same in return. That's the quid pro quo, a common term being used right now, but that's the quid pro quo. So I'm going to help you, you help me. Let's handle these negative things that happen in the office. Let's help them now. Another example would be a patient who comes in that is just a butthead patient, and they come in, and there's two kinds of patients. There's some that are irritated about a specific thing in your business, and that very well could be something that is a system breakdown in your system. There's others that come in, they're just a butthead. They're just people who just are not real fun to be around. Let's differentiate between those two. The one who, for instance, comes in with a business card and says, it's 10 o'clock, here's my appointment, I'm here. And they have the little card that says 10 o'clock. And on the chart or on the schedule, it says 11. But yet somebody wrote 10. That's a breakdown in our system. I would be upset about it also. So if you have any issues with that, and it happens from time to time, what I always do is I tell the patient, today, your next cleaning, there's going to be no charge for your cleaning. I am so sorry, but we will see you now. We're not going to wait till 11. I don't care what the schedule looks like. Now, if you're in a one-op office, you may have to pull some strings and figure out what you're going to do. But in my office, I can always bring them back. I can always visit with them. I'm going to get their work done, and we're going to do it in a timely manner. That way, I'm handling something that was a breakdown in our system to help patients. Because I used to think, well, they were just griping to just be griping. There's also those patients that come in, and they're buttheads. They gripe to the team, and the team, it stresses the team out. Yet when you walk in the room, they go, oh, hi, Dr. Bruce, how are you? It's so nice to see you. And that's tough. I mean, it's tough on the team, especially if you push it to the side and saying, oh, I'm doing great, and then you just look at the team and laugh. And I used to do this, so I learned how to handle it differently so that my team would not be stressed out. And I would simply say, Mary, my team, they love you, but you know what's happened? They tell me that you're kind of angry and mean when you come in. And you're never that way with me. And I just want you to know, these gals are like my family. I don't let the patient interrupt. I said, this is my family here. The patient will always apologize. I said, I am so sorry. I didn't even realize I was doing it. And I said, I know. I mean, heck, I know how it is. I do. And I said, but I just want you to be aware of it, Mary. I just want you to be aware so that we can handle that. So I'm handling an objection before it becomes the objection next time. Are you following me? I know you probably already knew this, and I use that a lot, but you got to do it. You've got to stand up for your team, and guess what? Your team will stand up for you all day long, every day. But you also have to be able to differentiate between that patient who is an amazing patient that just had a problem with something that happened. Oh, the lab didn't get the case here on time. I'm actually handling it after the objection in some cases, but I want my team to know that the case hasn't been here or is not here yet. For instance, let's just say it's Tuesday morning, that we're going to put the case in at 10 o'clock, and the case is not here on Friday afternoon. My team better have already realized that. They better have called the patient, apologized, handled the objections, and said, look, I'm going to need to move you. The lab needed some extra time, whatever the reason. But be honest, be truthful. Don't, the weather must have, just tell them the truth. If one of your team forgot to send something out, that's okay. I'm going to stand by it, and I'm going to say, we're going to give you a free cleaning for you and your husband. When you guys come next time, I'm going to make a note of it. I'm just so sorry for the inconvenience. Just be honest. Guess what? Those patients will stay with you forever and ever and ever. They'll love you because you do the right thing. You always do the right thing. And so by handling the objections, let's talk about our kids. by handling objections before it becomes an objection. When I would hear Micah, I know what Micah's planning. She wants to go somewhere. She's 16 now, going to be 17. She wants to go out with her friends. And she'll make a little hint about, on Thursday, a bunch of my friends are going here. I said, okay, well, tell me more about it. And if it's something that I feel like is okay, I'm going to say it's okay. If I feel like it's not okay, I'm going to handle it by giving her all the reasons why. Now, at 17, I may not, she may not want to believe any of them, but I said, my preference, Micah, would be to have those friends come over here to the house. I don't really want you going to their house. And I said, you guys can have fun. We can order pizza. You can do those things. So I'm actually making a situation where we're taking control of the situation, and I'm going to make sure that Micah has that ability to have that out to where now we can do something in our house where I can keep a little bit more control over them, and I can help in whatever way. That may just be stay in your room and watch TV or do whatever, and you girls have fun, go down to the cabana and you guys can have fun, but I'd rather them do it here with me. And otherwise, if I had no option, I would just say, no, you can't go. Well, why can't I go? And all these things. I'm handling that objection before that objection happens by giving her alternatives of things that she could do if I truly believe that's not going to be a good situation for them. So we do that throughout our lives. And I've really, I told you the first 20 years I was so bad at communicating, and I feel like I've gotten better. I've got a lot to learn still to this day. And I want to keep learning, and I keep reading books about communication. And I think people who learn to communicate and that can talk to people and that can handle objections before they're objections are always at an advantage for those who can't do that. And hope it's been helpful for you. Please send me questions. Bruce at productivedentist.com. Love to hear from you. Sign up for the Productive Dentist podcast, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast. If you found this episode helpful, make sure you subscribe. Pass it along to a friend. Give us a like on iTunes and Spotify, or drop me an email at podcast@productivedentist.com. Don't forget to check out other podcasts from the Productive Dentist Academy at productivedentistpodcast.com. Join me again next week for another episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast.